21 black bands from the 1970s with the most tragic fates. What if some of the greatest black music groups of the 1970s came within seconds of losing everything? Behind the gold records, sold out arenas, and timeless classics were terrifying accidents, devastating losses, and life-changing tragedies that many fans have never heard about. From the heartbreaking plane crash that nearly erased the bar case to the accident that left Heatwave's Johnny Wilder Jr. paralyzed, these stories reveal a hidden side of music history. Some bands survived, others were never the same again. Stay with us until the very end, because the final story may shock you the most. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Golden Black Legends for more untold stories from music's golden era. The Bar Case. The story of the Bar Case is one of the most heartbreaking tragedies in soul music history because their greatest breakthrough arrived at the exact moment disaster struck. Formed in Memphis, Tennessee, the young group quickly earned a reputation for their energetic sound and remarkable musicianship. Their instrumental hit, Soulfinger, became a major success in 1967, pushing the band into the national spotlight while its members were still in their late teens and early 20s. That success led to an even greater opportunity when they became the backing band for soul superstar Otis Redding, one of the most important voices in American music. For the members of the Bar Case, touring with Otis Redding felt like a dream coming true. Night after night, they performed before larger audiences and watched their future grow brighter. But everything changed on December 10, 1967. Following a concert engagement, Otis Redding and several members of the Bar Case boarded a twin-engine Beechcraft aircraft headed toward Madison, Wisconsin. As the plane approached its destination, it crashed into the icy waters of Lake Monona. The accident claimed the lives of Otis Redding and 4 members of the Bar Case, Jimmy King, Phelan Jones, Carl Cunningham, and Ronnie Caldwell. Only trumpeter Ben Cawley survived the crash. James Alexander, another member of the group, escaped tragedy simply because there was not enough room on the aircraft and he traveled separately. For many bands, such a loss would have ended everything. Instead, the surviving members eventually rebuilt the Bar Case and carried on. Throughout the 1970s, they reinvented themselves as one of the leading funk groups in America, releasing hits such as Shake Your Rump to the Funk and Too Hot to Stop. Yet no matter how successful they became, the shadow of that December crash never disappeared. Their story remains a powerful reminder of how quickly dreams can change and how resilience can emerge even after unimaginable loss. Heatwave. Heatwave seemed destined for a long reign as one of the most successful funk and disco groups of the late 1970s. Formed by brothers Johnny Wilder Jr. and Keith Wilder, the band blended soul funk, disco, and R&B into a sound that captivated audiences around the world. Their breakthrough came with massive hits such as Boogie Nights, Always and Forever, and The Groove Line. By the end of the decade, Heatwave had become one of the defining groups of the disco era, selling millions of records and filling concert venues across multiple continents. At the center of that success stood Johnny Wilder Jr., whose smooth vocals and emotional delivery helped make the group's music unforgettable. However, tragedy struck on February 28, 1979, when Wilder was involved in a devastating automobile accident in Dayton, Ohio. The crash left him paralyzed from the neck down. For most performers, such an injury would have ended any possibility of continuing a music career. Yet, Johnny Wilder refused to surrender. Although he could no longer walk and had extremely limited physical movement, he remained deeply connected to music. Using extraordinary determination, he continued contributing to songwriting and recording projects. While his role changed dramatically, his creative spirit remained intact. His perseverance became one of the most inspiring stories in music history. The accident also changed Heatwave forever. The group continued performing and recording, but losing its lead vocalist in such a tragic way altered the band's direction and momentum. Despite continued releases, the chemistry that had fueled their greatest successes could never be fully recreated. Johnny Wilder spent the rest of his life inspiring fans through faith, courage, and resilience. He passed away in 2006, but his legacy extends far beyond hit records. His story is not simply about a terrible accident. It is about a man who refused to let tragedy define him. Even after losing nearly everything physically, he continued creating, believing, and inspiring others. For many fans, that courage became just as memorable as the music itself. The Sequence. The Sequence occupies a unique place in music history as the first all-female hip-hop group to achieve national recognition. Formed in Columbia, South Carolina, the trio of Angie Stone, Cheryl Cook, and Gwendolyn Chisholm broke barriers when their 1979 hit Funk You Up became one of the earliest rap songs to gain widespread attention. At a time when hip-hop was still in its infancy, the Sequence helped prove that women could thrive in a genre largely dominated by male performers. Their success opened doors for future generations of female rappers and established them as pioneers of the culture. Decades later, tragedy once again drew attention to the group's legacy. In March 2025, Angie Stone, who had gone on to become a successful solo R&B artist after the Sequence disbanded, lost her life in a traffic accident while traveling in Alabama after a performance. Her sudden death shocked fans across the world. For many, Angie was more than a singer. She was a bridge connecting the earliest days of hip-hop with modern R&B. Tributes poured in from artists who credited her influence on their careers. The loss carried particular emotional weight because Angie had remained active in music for more than 4 decades. She continued performing, recording, and mentoring younger artists until the very end. Her passing reminded fans of how much she had contributed to Black music history. Today, the Sequence is remembered not only for breaking barriers, but also for the enduring legacy of the women who helped launch hip-hop into the mainstream. Their story combines innovation, resilience, and heartbreak. While time has passed since their chart success, their impact remains undeniable. The group's influence can still be heard in countless artists who followed, proving that true pioneers never disappear from history. The Temptations. Few groups in American music history have experienced the triumphs and tragedies of the Temptations. Formed in Detroit during the early 1960s, they became one of Motown's greatest success stories, producing timeless classics such as My Girl, Ain't Too Proud to Beg, and Papa Was a Rollin' Stone. Their polished choreography, powerful harmonies, and unmatched stage presence transformed them into international stars. Yet behind the success were personal struggles that often remained hidden from the public. One of the most heartbreaking chapters involved founding member Paul Williams. Known for his rich baritone voice and emotional performances, Williams played a crucial role in the group's early success. However, years of health problems, alcoholism, and mounting personal pressures gradually took a devastating toll. By the early 1970s, he was struggling to continue performing regularly with the group he helped build. On August 17, 1973, Paul Williams was found dead inside his car in Detroit from a gunshot wound. Authorities ruled the death a suicide, but questions and speculation persisted for years among fans and those close to him. Regardless of the circumstances, his loss devastated the Temptations. The group lost not only a founding member but also one of the emotional anchors that had held them together during their rise to fame. Although the Temptations continued recording and touring, many fans believed the group's original magic was never fully the same. The tragedy became part of a larger pattern of personal losses that affected several members throughout the years. Today, the Temptations remain one of the most celebrated vocal groups in history. Their music continues inspiring new generations, but the story of Paul Williams serves as a reminder that even the brightest stars can struggle in silence. Behind the legendary songs stood real people facing challenges that fame could not erase. The O'Jays. The O'Jays became one of the defining voices of 1970s soul music, delivering unforgettable hits such as Love Train, Backstabbers, and For the Love of Money. Their music captured both hope and social awareness, making them beloved figures within Black America and beyond. With Eddie Levert, Walter Williams, and William Powell at the forefront, the group achieved extraordinary commercial success and became ambassadors of the Philadelphia soul sound. During the height of their popularity, the members spent countless hours traveling between concerts, television appearances, and recording sessions. Life on the road brought enormous pressure, exhaustion, and risks that audiences rarely saw. According to stories that circulated within the group's history, a serious automobile accident during the 1970s left several members shaken and highlighted the dangers associated with constant touring. Whether every detail has been preserved accurately over time remains uncertain, but there is no question that life on the road placed significant strain on performers during that era. The most devastating blow to the group came later through health struggles. William Powell, one of the founding members, battled cancer while continuing to perform whenever possible. In 1977, he passed away at just 35 years old. His death deeply affected the remaining members and marked one of the darkest moments in the group's history. Despite profound loss, the OJs persevered. Eddie Levert and Walter Williams carried the group's legacy forward, continuing to perform and introduce their music to new audiences. Their resilience became as inspiring as their recordings. Today, the OJs are remembered not only for chart-topping hits, but also for their ability to endure personal tragedy while maintaining their commitment to music. Their story reminds us that behind every successful group lies sacrifice, heartbreak, and determination that fans often never see. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Earth, Wind, and Fire revolutionized black music during the 1970s by combining funk, soul, jazz, gospel, and spectacular stage production into one unforgettable experience. Founded by Maurice White, the group produced classics such as Shining Star, September Man Fantasy, and Let's Groove. Their concerts became legendary for elaborate lighting, costume changes, visual effects, and a level of showmanship rarely seen at the time. They were not simply a band, they were an experience. As their productions became increasingly ambitious, so did the risks involved. Massive lighting rigs, elevated platforms, and complex stage equipment transformed performances into large-scale events. According to accounts associated with the group's touring years, one concert incident involving stage equipment resulted in injury and temporarily disrupted a performance. While some details have become difficult to verify, decades later, the story reflects the reality that groundbreaking productions often carried dangers audiences never noticed. Beyond physical risks, Earth, Wind, and Fire also faced the emotional and professional pressures that come with sustaining success at the highest level. Constant touring schedules, recording commitments, and the responsibility of maintaining one of the world's most successful bands demanded extraordinary endurance from every member. Despite challenges, the group continued producing music that transcended generations. Maurice White's leadership helped create a catalog that remains among the most influential in popular music history. Even after health issues eventually limited his public appearances, the band's legacy continued growing. What makes Earth, Wind, and Fire remarkable is not only their success, but their ability to overcome obstacles while maintaining artistic excellence. Their music celebrated joy, unity, spirituality, and hope during periods of social change. Decades later, songs like September still fill dance floors around the world. Their story proves that greatness is not achieved without sacrifice. Behind the dazzling lights and unforgettable performances stood artists who worked tirelessly to create something timeless. That dedication transformed Earth, Wind, and Fire from a successful band into one of the greatest musical institutions ever created. The Isley Brothers. The Isley Brothers built one of the most remarkable careers in American music history. Beginning in the 1950s and reaching new heights throughout the 1970s, the group continuously reinvented itself while producing classics such as It's Your Thing, Fight the Power, and For the Love of You. Their influence stretched across soul, funk, rock, and R&B, inspiring generations of artists who followed. Yet behind the success stood a family that experienced devastating loss long before many fans knew their name. One of the earliest tragedies occurred in 1955 when Vernon Isley, the youngest of the Isley brothers, was struck and killed by a car while riding his bicycle near his family's home in Cincinnati. He was only 13 years old. The heartbreaking accident deeply affected the entire family and permanently changed their lives. In many ways, the surviving brothers carried that loss with them throughout their careers. As the group's popularity grew during the 1970s, they faced the physical demands of constant touring, long recording sessions, and the pressures that come with maintaining success over multiple decades. Like many major acts of the era, they spent countless hours traveling across the country, often performing night after night with little rest. Despite personal losses and industry challenges, the Isley Brothers continued thriving. Their ability to adapt helped them remain relevant while many of their contemporaries faded from the spotlight. Songs recorded decades ago still receive airplay and continue influencing modern music. What makes their story especially emotional is how they transformed grief into creativity. Rather than allowing tragedy to define them, they used music as a source of strength and unity. Their journey reminds us that behind every legendary group are human beings carrying memories, heartbreak, and personal struggles. Through perseverance and extraordinary talent, the Isley Brothers turned adversity into one of the most enduring legacies in black music history. The Commodores. The Commodores emerged from Tuskegee Institute in Alabama and quickly became one of the most successful funk and soul groups of the 1970s, with hits such as Brick House, Easy, and 3 Times a Lady. They developed a sound that combined infectious grooves with heartfelt ballads. Led by talented musicians including Lionel Richie, the group enjoyed worldwide fame and sold millions of records during their peak years. Life on the road, however, was not always glamorous. Touring schedules during the 1970s often involved exhausting travel, limited sleep, and constant pressure to perform. Like many successful groups of the era, the Commodores faced the risks associated with spending much of their lives on buses, airplanes, and highways while moving from city to city. The most significant tragedy connected to the group involved founding member Milan Williams. A gifted keyboard player and songwriter, Williams helped create many of the musical elements that defined the Commodores' signature sound. After leaving the group in the late 1980s, he continued pursuing music and business ventures. In 2006, he died from cancer at the age of 58, a loss that saddened longtime fans and former bandmates alike. The departure of Lionel Richie in the early 1980s also represented a major turning point. While not a tragedy in the traditional sense, it marked the end of one of the most successful chapters in the band's history. Many wondered whether the group could survive without its most recognizable member. Yet, the Commodores endured. Their catalog remained popular and their influence continued spreading through generations of musicians. Today, their music still fills radio stations, weddings, and celebrations around the world. Their story is one of perseverance and adaptation. Through changing musical trends, personal losses, and major career transitions, the Commodores remained a symbol of excellence. Their journey proves that lasting success requires resilience as much as talent. The Pointer Sisters. The Pointer Sisters brought energy, versatility, and charisma to every stage they stepped on. Formed by sisters Ruth Anita Bonney and June Pointer, the group achieved remarkable success across multiple genres, including soul, disco, pop, and R&B. During the 1970s and 1980s, they dominated charts with hits such as Fire, He's So Shy, Jump for My Love, and I'm So Excited. Their ability to evolve with changing musical trends made them one of the most successful female groups of their generation. Behind the bright smiles and chart success, however, the sisters faced numerous personal hardships. Constant touring required extensive travel, and life on the road often exposed performers to risks that audiences rarely considered. Long hours, tight schedules, and endless transportation demands became part of everyday life for major acts during that era. One of the most difficult challenges involved June Pointer. Known for her distinctive voice and vibrant personality, she struggled with substance abuse and health issues during different periods of her life. Despite continuing to perform and contribute to the group's success, those battles eventually affected her health. She passed away in 2006 at the age of 52, leaving a profound emotional impact on her family and fans. The group also endured the loss of other family members over the years, transforming what had once been a quartet of sisters into a story marked by both triumph and heartbreak. Yet, through every challenge, the Pointer Sisters continued sharing their music with audiences around the world. What makes their story so moving is the strength of their family bond. Their greatest successes were achieved together, and their most painful losses were endured together as well. Today, the Pointer Sisters remain celebrated not only for their hit songs, but also for the resilience they demonstrated through decades of personal and professional challenges. Their legacy continues to inspire fans who appreciate both their music and the perseverance behind it. The Jackson 5. The Jackson 5 became one of the most extraordinary success stories in music history. Emerging from Gary, Indiana, the group transformed from a talented family act into a global phenomenon almost overnight. Consisting of Jackie Tito, Jermaine Marlon, and a young Michael Jackson, the group captivated audiences with infectious energy, flawless harmonies, and stage performances far beyond their years. Hits such as I Want You Back, ABC, and I'll Be There turned them into Motown's brightest young stars and established Michael Jackson as a once-in-a-generation talent. Yet behind the fame was a childhood unlike any other. While millions of fans saw smiling faces and dazzling performances, the brothers spent much of their youth traveling, rehearsing, and performing under intense pressure. Endless tours, recording sessions, and television appearances left little room for a normal childhood. The demands of fame came at a significant personal cost. One of the greatest tragedies connected to the Jackson family was not a single accident, but years of emotional strain, public scrutiny, and personal struggles. Michael Jackson later spoke openly about the pressures he experienced as a child performer. As the group's success grew, so did the expectations placed upon every member of the family. The loss of Michael Jackson in 2009 shocked the world and forever changed how many people viewed the Jackson legacy. Although his passing occurred decades after the group's peak years, it represented a heartbreaking chapter in a story that had inspired generations. For fans who grew up watching the Jackson 5 dominate television screens during the 1970s, the loss felt deeply personal. Today, the Jackson 5 remain symbols of excellence, determination, and extraordinary talent. Their music continues to unite generations, but their story also reminds us that fame often carries burdens invisible to the public. Behind the chart-topping hits stood 5 brothers whose lives were transformed forever by success, sacrifice, and the pressures that came with becoming music legends. The Whispers. The Whispers built one of the most enduring careers in soul and R&B history. Formed in Los Angeles during the 1960s, the group spent years refining their craft before achieving major commercial success. By the late 1970s and early 1980s, they had become household names through timeless songs such as And the Beat Goes On, Lady, and Rocksteady. Their smooth harmonies, elegant performances, and remarkable consistency earned them a loyal fan base that spanned generations. Unlike many groups that enjoyed brief moments of fame, the Whispers achieved longevity through discipline and unity. Twin brothers Walter and Wallace Scott served as the emotional foundation of the group, helping maintain stability throughout decades of industry changes. Yet even a group known for resilience eventually faced heartbreak. One of the most devastating moments came in 2023 when founding member and co-lead singer Walter Scott Jr. passed away at the age of 81. For more than 6 decades, Walter's voice had been central to the group's identity. His death marked the end of an era and left fans mourning one of soul music's most recognizable performers. The Whispers also endured the physical demands that came with decades of touring, traveling thousands of miles every year, performing hundreds of shows, and maintaining vocal excellence required extraordinary commitment. While audiences saw polished performances, the members often faced exhaustion and personal sacrifices behind the scenes. What makes their story inspiring is their ability to remain together for so long in an industry where many groups collapsed due to internal conflicts or changing trends. They survived shifting musical landscapes while preserving the sound that made them famous. Today, the Whispers remain respected as one of the greatest vocal groups in black music history. Their legacy is built not only on hit records but also on brotherhood, perseverance, and dedication. Through triumph and loss, they continued creating music that touched millions of lives around the world. The Four Tops. The Four Tops achieved something almost unheard of in popular music. While many groups experienced constant lineup changes, Levi Stubbs, Abdul Duke, Fakir, Renaldo Benson, and Lawrence Payton remained together for over 4 decades. Their loyalty to one another became as legendary as the music itself. Throughout the 1960s and 1970s, they helped define the Motown sound with unforgettable classics such as Reach Out, I'll Be There, Standing in the Shadows of Love, and Bernadette. Their success brought international fame, but it also required relentless dedication. The group spent years traveling across America and around the world, performing before countless audiences while maintaining one of the most demanding schedules in the music industry. Night after night, they delivered powerful performances that made them one of the most respected acts of their generation. The deepest tragedy in the group's history came through the loss of its founding members. Lawrence Payton became the first member to pass away in 1997 after battling liver cancer. For the first time in decades, the Four Tops were forced to continue without one of the voices that had helped build their legacy. The loss deeply affected the remaining members who had shared not only a career but also a lifelong friendship. Additional heartbreak followed in later years with the deaths of Renaldo Benson in 2005 and Abdul Fakir in 2024. Each loss represented the closing of another chapter in one of music's most remarkable stories. Yet through every tragedy, the group's contributions to soul music remained untouched. What made the Four Tops special was not merely their vocal talent but the extraordinary bond they shared. They demonstrated loyalty, professionalism, and mutual respect over a period when many groups struggled to stay together. Their journey reminds us that success is often built on friendship as much as talent. Today, the Four Tops remain icons of black music history. Their songs continue inspiring listeners worldwide, while their story stands as a testament to endurance, brotherhood, and the lasting power of great music. The Chi-Lites. The Chi-Lites became one of the defining voices of Chicago soul during the 1970s, blending emotional storytelling with smooth harmonies that resonated deeply with audiences across America. Led by the gifted Eugene Record, the group created unforgettable classics such as Have You Seen Her?, Oh Girl, and Homely Girl. Their music captured the joys and heartbreaks of everyday life, making them one of the most beloved vocal groups of their generation. At their peak, the Chi-Lites were selling records worldwide and performing before packed audiences night after night. Yet life behind the spotlight was not always as beautiful as the songs suggested. Like many successful black groups of the era, The Chi-Lights spent countless hours traveling across the country in buses, vans, and airplanes to meet growing demand. The physical toll of touring was immense. Long drives, unpredictable weather, and exhausting schedules became part of daily life. While fans saw polished performances, the group often faced the dangers associated with life on the road. As the years passed, internal struggles, financial difficulties, and changing music trends created additional challenges. The most heartbreaking losses came later when key members began passing away. In 2005, Eugene Record died from cancer at the age of 64. His passing represented the loss of the group's primary songwriter, lead vocalist, and creative force. For many fans, it felt like the closing of a golden chapter in soul music history. Despite setbacks and personal tragedies, the Chi-Lights' music never disappeared. Their songs continued receiving radio play and were sampled by numerous hip-hop and R&B artists, introducing their sound to younger generations. What makes their story so powerful is the way they transformed everyday emotions into timeless music. Today, the Chi-Lights remain symbols of an era when soul music spoke directly to the heart. Their legacy lives on through melodies that continue touching listeners decades after they were first recorded. Though time brought challenges and loss, the music they created remains as powerful as ever. The Stylistics. The Stylistics emerged from Philadelphia at the dawn of the 1970s and quickly became one of the most recognizable vocal groups in soul music. With Russell Tompkins Jr.'s unmistakable falsetto leading the way, the group delivered a string of elegant hits including Betcha by Golly Wow, You Make Me Feel Brand New, Break Up to Make Up, and You Are Everything. Their sophisticated sound, romantic lyrics, and polished performances made them favorites among audiences around the world. Success arrived quickly, but maintaining it required relentless dedication. Throughout the decade, the Stylistics traveled extensively, performing across North America, Europe, and beyond. Endless touring schedules demanded tremendous physical and emotional endurance. While their music often sounded effortless, life behind the scenes was far more demanding. Long nights, constant travel, and industry pressures became a routine part of their careers. One of the biggest challenges came not from a single accident, but from business disputes and changing industry dynamics. Like many black artists of the era, the group faced ongoing concerns regarding royalties, contracts, and financial recognition. Despite generating numerous hit records, disagreements over compensation and management eventually contributed to lineup changes and professional tensions. The departure of Russell Tompkins Jr. during the year 2000 marked a major turning point. His unique voice had become synonymous with the group's identity for decades. Although the Stylistics continued performing, many longtime fans viewed the change as the end of a remarkable era. What makes their story remarkable is their resilience. Even as musical tastes shifted and new genres dominated radio, the Stylistics maintained a devoted audience. Their songs remained staples on soul playlists, wedding receptions, and romantic radio programs. Today, the Stylistics stand as one of the greatest vocal groups of all time. Their story is one of perseverance, artistic excellence, and enduring influence. While challenges emerged throughout their journey, their music continues to remind listeners why they became legends in the first place. The Manhattans. The Manhattans built their reputation on elegance, emotional depth, and some of the most memorable ballads in soul music history. Formed in New Jersey during the 1960s, the group gradually developed into one of the most respected vocal acts of the 1970s. Their signature hit, Kiss and Say Goodbye, became one of the best-selling soul singles ever released, while songs such as Shining Star and It Feels So Good to Be Loved So Bad further established their place in music history. Unlike many groups that enjoyed only brief success, the Manhattans sustained their popularity through exceptional vocal performances and a deep connection with audiences. Their music often explored themes of love, heartbreak, and personal reflection, creating an emotional bond that endured for decades. Behind the success, however, were significant personal struggles. Touring continuously throughout the 1970s required enormous sacrifice. Long periods away from family demanding schedules and the pressure to maintain success created challenges rarely visible to fans. Yet the group continued performing with professionalism and grace. One of the most heartbreaking moments came when longtime lead singer Gerald Alston temporarily stepped away from the group during different periods of its history, creating uncertainty among fans. Later, the deaths of several members further reminded audiences of the passage of time and the fragility of life. Every loss represented not only the departure of a performer, but also the closing of an important chapter in the group's journey. Despite these challenges, the Manhattans remained remarkably resilient. Their music continued reaching new audiences through radio film soundtracks and digital platforms. Few groups have maintained such a strong emotional connection across multiple generations. Today, the Manhattans are remembered as masters of romantic soul. Their story reflects both the rewards and sacrifices of a life devoted to music. Through changing times, personal hardships and industry challenges, they continued creating songs that spoke directly to the heart. That enduring ability to connect with listeners remains the true foundation of their lasting legacy. The Delphonics. The Delphonics became one of the most influential soul groups of the late 1960s and 1970s, creating a sound so smooth and romantic that it helped define the Philadelphia soul movement. Led by the unmistakable falsetto of William Hart, the group captivated audiences with classics such as "La La Means I Love You," "Didn't I Blow Your Mind This Time," and "Ready or Not, Here I Come." Their delicate harmonies and emotional delivery made them favorites among fans looking for music that spoke directly to the heart. As their popularity grew, so did the demands of life on the road. Touring constantly across America placed enormous physical and emotional pressure on the group. Like many black artists of the era, they often traveled long distances under exhausting conditions while maintaining the high standards audiences expected. Although they avoided some of the major disasters that affected other groups, the wear and tear of years spent performing eventually created challenges of its own. The most difficult struggles came through internal changes and personal losses. As musical tastes evolved throughout the late 1970s and 1980s, maintaining success became increasingly difficult. Lineup changes and industry pressures tested the group's stability. Yet they continued performing, determined to preserve the legacy they had built. One of the most emotional moments arrived when founding member William Hart passed away in 2022 at the age of 77. For many fans, his voice was the very soul of the Delphonics. His death marked the end of an era that had begun more than 5 decades earlier. Despite heartbreak and change, the Delphonics remain one of the most beloved vocal groups in soul music history. Their recordings continue, reaching new generations through films, radio, and streaming platforms. Their story reminds us that while fame may fade, truly timeless music never disappears. The voices that once filled concert halls still echo today, carrying memories of an extraordinary chapter in black music history. The Dramatics. The Dramatics built their reputation through powerful harmonies, dramatic stage performances, and songs filled with emotion. Emerging from Detroit during the late 1960s, the group became major stars throughout the 1970s with hits such as "What You See Is What You Get," "In the Rain," and "Be My Girl." Their music combined passion and vulnerability, creating a style that set them apart from many of their contemporaries. Before achieving fame, however, the group experienced a devastating tragedy. In 1969, members of the Dramatics were scheduled to perform alongside Otis Redding and the Bar-Kays. Fate intervened when they missed the flight that later crashed into Lake Monona, killing Redding and several members of the Bar-Kays. Although the Dramatics were not on board, the event left a lasting emotional impact. Many within the music community viewed their absence from that flight as a miraculous escape. As their careers advanced, the group faced the same challenges common to many touring acts. Endless travel, demanding schedules, and changing musical trends tested their resilience. Yet, they continued producing successful records and maintained a loyal audience throughout the decade. The years that followed brought additional heartbreak. Several members battled health issues, and the group endured multiple lineup changes. The deaths of key performers over time reminded fans that even legendary voices are not immune to life's hardships. What makes the Dramatics remarkable is their perseverance. They survived industry shifts, personal losses, and decades of change while preserving the emotional power that made them famous. Their music remains a staple of classic soul radio and continues influencing artists today. Their story is not merely one of success. It is a story of survival, second chances, and gratitude for opportunities that nearly vanished before they ever truly began. Few groups embody resilience quite like the Dramatics. The emotions. The emotions brought elegance, talent, and extraordinary vocal ability to the world of soul and funk music. Formed by sisters Sheila Wanda and Janet Hutchinson, the group rose to prominence during the 1970s with unforgettable hits such as Best of My Love, Flowers, and Don't Ask My Neighbors. Their combination of powerful harmonies and uplifting performances made them one of the most successful female groups of their era. Unlike many acts that relied on image alone, the Emotions built their reputation through vocal excellence. Their partnership with Earth, Wind and Fire helped elevate them to even greater heights, introducing their music to audiences around the world. By the late 1970s, they had become a major force in both soul and pop music. Success, however, came with sacrifices. The constant travel required to maintain their popularity placed tremendous strain on performers. Long hours on the road, repeated rehearsals, and demanding concert schedules became part of everyday life. Yet the sisters continued performing with remarkable professionalism and grace. Over the years, the group faced personal losses and health challenges that tested their strength. Like many family-based acts, they also experienced the emotional complexities of balancing professional careers with personal relationships. Through every challenge, they remained committed to one another and to the music that brought them together. What distinguishes the Emotions is their ability to project joy even during difficult times. Their songs celebrated love, hope, and positivity, providing listeners with comfort during periods of uncertainty. That uplifting spirit became a defining feature of their legacy. Today, the Emotions remain admired for both their artistry and their resilience. Their music continues inspiring audiences decades after its release. Their story demonstrates that success is not measured only by chart positions but also by the ability to endure challenges while remaining true to one's purpose. Through harmony and determination, they created a legacy that continues shining brightly. Ohio Players. The Ohio Players were among the boldest and most innovative funk bands of the 1970s. Known for explosive energy, daring album covers, and unforgettable hits such as Fire, Love Roller Coaster, and Skin Tight. They became one of the defining groups of the funk era. Their music combined powerful grooves, creative arrangements, and electrifying performances that turned them into major stars. Behind the success stood years of hard work and persistence. The members spent countless hours touring, recording, and perfecting their craft. As their popularity expanded, they found themselves performing before larger audiences and traveling greater distances than ever before. The excitement of success often came with significant physical demands. Like many groups of the era, the Ohio Players faced moments of uncertainty and danger while on the road. Constant travel exposed them to risks that audiences rarely considered. Harsh weather, equipment failures, and exhausting schedules became routine parts of life for touring musicians. While they avoided some of the catastrophic accidents that affected other artists, maintaining such an intense lifestyle required extraordinary endurance. The group also faced internal challenges as musical trends shifted during the late 1970s and early 1980s. Changes within the industry forced them to adapt while attempting to preserve the sound that made them famous. Some members pursued different opportunities while others worked to keep the band's legacy alive. Despite obstacles, the Ohio Players left an enormous mark on music history. Their songs have been sampled extensively by hip-hop artists, ensuring their influence continues reaching new generations. The creativity they displayed helped shape the evolution of funk R&B and popular music as a whole. Today, the Ohio Players are remembered as pioneers who pushed boundaries and brought excitement to every performance. Their journey reflects both the rewards and challenges of life in the music industry. Through talent, perseverance, and innovation, they created a legacy that remains impossible to ignore. War's story is unlike that of almost any other group from the 1970s. Formed in Southern California, the multicultural band blended funk, soul, rock, jazz, and Latin influences into a sound that reflected the diversity of the communities where they grew up. Songs such as Lowrider, Why Can't We Be Friends, and The Cisco Kid became massive hits, helping the group sell millions of records while delivering messages of unity and social awareness. Their music often celebrated peace, friendship, and resilience, themes that resonated during a decade marked by social change. Yet behind the success stood a remarkable story of survival. One of the group's most important members, keyboardist and vocalist Lonnie Jordan, grew up surrounded by difficult circumstances, while several band members experienced poverty and discrimination before achieving fame. The group's original frontman Eric Burdon helped introduce War to a wider audience, but it was the musicians themselves who built the band's lasting identity. Perhaps the most tragic event connected to War involved former member Charles Miller, whose saxophone playing helped define many of the group's classic recordings. Miller contributed memorable performances on some of their biggest hits and became an essential part of the band's signature sound. In 1980, however, he was tragically murdered in Los Angeles at the age of 42. His death shocked fans and fellow musicians alike, robbing the music world of a gifted performer far too soon. Despite the loss, War continued performing and recording. Their ability to overcome adversity became one of the reasons the group remained respected for decades. While musical trends changed around them, their songs continued finding new audiences through radio films and sampling by hip-hop artists. Today, War is remembered not only for hit records, but also for its message of unity. Their journey reminds us that even amid tragedy and hardship, music can bring people together. Their legacy continues to inspire listeners who appreciate both the powerful grooves and the deeper meaning behind the songs. Kool and the Gang. Kool and the Gang transformed from a neighborhood band in Jersey City, New Jersey, into one of the most successful groups in music history. Founded by brothers Robert Kool Bell and Ronald Bell, the group spent decades creating a catalog that crossed genres and generations. During the 1970s, they became funk pioneers with energetic hits such as Jungle Boogie and Hollywood Swinging. In the following decade, they expanded their sound and achieved worldwide success with classics like Celebration, Ladies' Night, and Cherish. Their rise to fame was built on relentless dedication. Like many successful bands of the era, Kool and the Gang spent years traveling from city to city, performing hundreds of shows and refining their craft. The road to success demanded sacrifices that most fans never saw. Long tours, constant rehearsals, and the pressure to remain relevant in a rapidly changing industry tested the group's endurance. One of the most emotional chapters in the band's history came with the passing of key members. Ronald Bell, one of the group's founders, principal songwriters, and creative leaders, died unexpectedly in 2020 at the age of 68. His death represented a tremendous loss for the band and for music fans around the world. Bell's contributions helped shape the group's sound and were instrumental in creating many of their biggest hits. Additional losses followed as other longtime members passed away in later years, reminding audiences of the passage of time and the challenges that come with maintaining a career spanning more than 5 decades. Yet through every setback, Kool and the Gang continued honoring their legacy through live performances and ongoing celebrations of their music. Today, Kool and the Gang remains one of the most influential groups ever formed. Their songs continue filling dance floors, weddings, sporting events, and celebrations worldwide. Their story is about far more than commercial success. It is a story of perseverance, friendship, and the enduring power of music to unite people across generations. Through triumphs and tragedies alike, they built a legacy that remains as vibrant today as it was during their golden years. As we reach the end of these incredible stories, one question still lingers: which band's tragedy had the greatest impact on music history? Was it the devastating plane crash that changed the bar case forever, the life-altering accident that transformed Heatwave's future, or the heartbreaking losses endured by legendary groups like The Temptations and the Four Tops? Behind the chart-topping hits and unforgettable performances were real people facing unimaginable challenges. Their resilience helped shape the music we still cherish today. Now we want to hear from you. Which story moved you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and support Golden Black Legends for more powerful music history stories.